Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I thought I'd talk about why you should worship one God instead of many. When you look at the pantheons of different deities, like the Celtic, the Norse, the Egyptian, uh, Chinese, Indian, they all have like their different little areas of where they're gods or goddesses of particular things. Like God of the sun, like with Ra, with Helios, with Mithras. He's god of a whole bunch of other things as well. Then, like with Norse, you have Sol, but that's actually a goddess. And then, of course, you have and the gods and goddesses of nature, like the earth, like Geb in Egypt, Gaia or Cernunnos, and of course then you have other deities that are supposed to be like kind of like the leaders of those pantheons, like Odin, or the Jade Emperor, or Vishnu, Zeus. They're but yet they're limited in their aspects of what they're gods of as well. So, why would you want to worship, a god that's kind of limited? It's not really a vast being, you know. And even with the resurgence here in the West and in Europe, you have like the resurgence of paganism or the revival of it, especially the Norse pantheon, becoming very popular because of video games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, God of War Ragnarok. You have the Netflix series Twilight of the Gods, the History Channel series Vikings, which features Odin a few times, and it's interesting. I think that with this resurgence, people are focusing on worshiping these gods of limited abilities. I mean, at least in my opinion, if you're going to the Dungeons and Dragons scenario of like the Forgotten Realms, which is I admit one of my favorite fantasy worlds. Because the books are very well written. But their pantheon, they at least get some of it kind of correct. You have the Overgod Ao, who, even though humans really don't worship him, now during the Time of Troubles series, they did briefly when they knew about that he existed, but overall they'll worship other like lesser beings, who they consider to be gods or demigods. But yet those gods will worship Ao, the Overgod, because they know like he's the boss, he's the creator of their universe. And but the thing is, with us, with Muslims, one of our advantages is that we can skip all that. Instead of like with Catholic priests, where people come to them to pray and they get absolution and forgiveness and all that. We directly just get on our knees and we make our prayers to the one God, the creator of the entire universe. And I think it's personally better to worship a being that created the entire universe than to worship a being who created like a really teeny little part of it. Because when you look at the vast cosmos out there, our world is just like an insignificant speck of dust. But yet, when you look at all the different galaxies that are out there, the nebulas, the quasars, the black holes, all of their planets, why not worship the God who created all of that? That would be the smart thing to do. I think. I mean, heck, even in the Bible, it even tells you, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one." I mean, they tell you right there in the Bible, there's one God. I mean, they admitted it way back then. It's one of the reasons I think that many Jews don't like, Christians, because they consider it idolatry. Worshiping Jesus, peace be upon him, is idolatry. You're worshiping a man. Unlike, Muslims, we consider that shirk. It's the same thing. It's a big no-no. So whether you're here in America, like me, or you're out there in Europe or Asia, Australia, or anywhere else out there in the world, why worship, those gods of that culture, those of the pantheon of wherever it is that those people are from, and why not worship the one guy, that one great, all-encompassing being that created everything? I mean, that to me is just far more like a wonderful and awesome thing to do. I mean, because it's also showing that you appreciate your existence, because he created you, you have that knowledge, that sense of self-worth in a way to, you that this creator, why not get down on your knees and bow and pray and put your head to the ground and, thank him for creating you, thank him for, giving you life. And, it's kind of like the least thing that we can really do, open our hearts to him, and, and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for creating us, and you don't need to go and thank some other deity, like a few I mentioned before in this video, like Mithras or Odin. I mean, it's one thing to study those cultures and those histories, because history's fun. It's nice to learn about other cultures and other things, but you don't let yourself get so wrapped up in those stories that you begin to believe and partake in them. You see them, but you know that to keep your distance so that you can, not let yourself fall into shirk, into idolatry. So you can remain pure and remain clean, and so that during the day of judgment, you can have a better chance of getting into heaven, than falling to the side like, unfortunately a lot of people will. But I don't have that discretion on who is going to be there or not. But I think it is, a wonderful thing to realize that, God, created me. For what purpose? I don't know yet. Still in my 50s, I'm still trying to figure it out. But yet, but at least one thing I did figure out, and that I'm proud of, is that, that I am a Muslim, and I'm proud and joyful of that fact. And so at least I got one thing figured out. There is one God, and it's me, my personal thing in my life to worship him and to try and do my best to be a better human being, a better Muslim, and overall, I think it's kind of like basically what it is for all of us, but we all have to find our own path, and I hope you find yours. Just let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video. Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.